You are talking to the 432nd Civil Affairs Battalion that is forward deployed in all places Europe. We have 8 countries represented in 2 continents right now, so that's pretty cool. Modern technology is pretty fantastic, so we appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you all for taking the time, and thanks for what you're doing. I know I really enjoyed the visit I had prior to the deployment, so thank you guys for taking the time. Eager to hear from you, and also happy to answer any questions you have.
Hello, sir. Our team is operating primarily in Poland, working a lot with our Polish military and NATO partners. What both your outlook is on the U.S. role in Europe, as far as the DoD footprint as it seems to be shifting towards Poland, and specifically kind of like the role of NATO going forward.
Secretary General of NATO came and addressed Congress and talked about all of the investments that their member countries are making right now. I mean, we actually have gotten a lot of countries to fulfill their 2% defense spending pledge. My hope is that that's going to continue. Make sure that those investments all align with each other, right? In other words, you don't want all the member countries spending money on the same things. As an allied force, we want to be able to fight together, have certain countries specialize in certain things, be able to rely on them for certain things. Other countries invest in other things. And I think that's what we've struggled for decades now with NATO. It's really to make the whole greater than the sum of the parts there. It's going to be a small presence or a team like yours working by, with, and through local partners on the ground. And that's how we get our deterrent power. So you guys are just all over the map, literally here.
We're here in Bulgaria. What do you think about the current state of American diplomacy and how that impacts our armed services?
I think having served in the military, it gave me a renewed appreciation for the diplomatic instruments of U.S. foreign policy and the importance of at least trying to resolve things diplomatically, lest you have to solve everything with hard power, with military power, or shifting diplomatic mission sets that should be done by the State Department or USAID onto the Defense Department, which is in some ways what we had to do in Iraq. In order for diplomacy to succeed, in order for the Secretary of State or the ambassador or whoever, the head of USAID, to succeed, they need to be backed by a credible military deterrent. My worldview is that it's American hard power that makes American soft power possible, effective. There's this great quote from a great Wisconsinite, George Kennan, the architect of containment, where he says, you have no idea how much it contributes to the general politeness and pleasantness of diplomacy to have a quiet armed force in the background.
Do you believe that potential emerging vaccines are going to have any kind of an effect on our operations during our time here?
Yeah, I think February is when we're going to see Operation Warp Speed really kick into high gear. And I've been briefed on Warp Speed from the start on almost a weekly basis, engaging with everyone in the Pentagon that's working on it, across the National Security Council, across the national security community. And I have a high degree of confidence that the entire U.S. government, particularly sort of the national security interagency, is ready to deploy this vaccine at warp speed. Can I ask, how has it affected your day-to-day? Well, do you guys have weird quarantine procedures? Is it like,
every country's different too. I mean, it's a complex, convoluted. I think on average, I would say we probably all of us have had 8 COVID tests and been quarantined at least twice, and it's kind of crazy. But hey, we're working it. We're making it work.
Hey, sir. Good morning. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Brian Creek, and this is Sergeant Major Pete Leiden. We're the command team here in Poznan, Poland. First, I want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to address the soldiers. I know a lot of these soldiers are from Wisconsin. Some of them aren't. We really appreciate your time and being able to talk to us. Second of all, I wanted to thank you for your service. As a former Marine, you understand, what it takes to leave your family and to put your country before yourself, before your family, and before your own needs. And what I would ask you, sir, is do you have any advice for any of these soldiers that want to continue their service after the military, in the government, in the political realm, so that they can continue to serve their country and have some of their country's best interests when they do so.
If you go back home, let's say you're coming back to Green Bay and you want to get involved in a career that isn't as directly related to your military skill set, every company in Northeast Wisconsin is eager to hire veterans. I think the biggest and most positive change in our country from the 1960s to the present day is there is a near universal recognition of the value of military service and a desire to help veterans. And so I really do think, as with military experience, the world's your oyster, whether you want to go directly into a civilian government job that leverages your unique skill set, whether you want to go into business and use your military experience to become a leader in the private sector, or whether you want to serve your community or your country in terms of elected office. I think that just says something powerful about how much respect there is for service in our country right now, and appropriately so, because you guys are doing a very difficult job at great cost to your own personal lives and your families. So for those whose families are at home right now, we owe them a debt of gratitude too.
And you're doing a great job, so we really appreciate it, sir.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking some time. Appreciate all the questions. I need to go to school on some of the retention issues that you raised. Please send me anything you have on that. Happy to be an advocate on the Armed Services Committee, and I really do appreciate all the hard work you're doing. When you guys get back, I'd love to come visit you and just kind of hear lessons learned from the deployment. What do we need to know? Because you guys are going to have the best intel. So let's set that up when the time is right.